Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Really cool cats and kittens, because there's like this really cold front that's moving across America, and it's even hit us here in Florida. We've been up in the high 80s, low 90s, and now it's like in the 50s, and I hear it's going down to like 37. It's crazy. And it was raining earlier, and I just got drenched, as did all of the people who were working here with the cats. And so we're all kind of shivering. But in big cat news around the world, you can find this at bigcatrescue.org/news. Peacock's Joe versus Carol earns PETA's Tech Not Terror Award for the use of CGI tigers instead of real cats. Love them for that. Everybody involved in that. Something wild, are there more bobcats in New Hampshire or just more wildlife cameras? Actually, I think it's the latter. And there's actually a bill I'm really happy about. We just subscribed to Capital Canary, which is capable of giving us all of the state bills based on a word search. So I can put in things like bobcat, and I can find all of the bills that are coming out or all of the tweets that are being said on social media about bobcats. And so I came across one that came out this morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're going to kill bobcats in Illinois. And so as I got to looking into it, the person's tweet was from a 2015 article where they were going to kill bobcats in Illinois. And now Illinois is looking at turning that around because they've realized that you need to protect these apex predators if you want to save the environment. So we're working on some issues here to maybe do that in Florida. Some of you might know what happened with Vinkman recently, and I'm too mad still to even talk about it, but if there's any good to come out of it, hopefully it will be a ban on killing state-colored animals, because clearly they're in a state program for a reason and should not be hunted for sport. So that will be the good to come out of that. But it's also made me aware of the fact that there are other states that may have bills either where they're trying to protect bobcats or they're trying to kill bobcats or cougars. And so we want to be able to weigh in on those. And I will be letting you know when I find out about those where your voice can make a difference. North Ogden man comes face to face with a large cougar just outside his glass door. That must have been exciting. Maryland will become the second state, after New York, to prohibit cat decline. Yay, Maryland. Yellowstone Cougar Project provides insight to lions' lives and deaths. Illinois bobcat season concludes with 290 harvested. I hate that they use a word like that. Why can't they call it what it is? They were killed. They were murdered for being who they are. And there's just no excuse for that. And so I'm really glad to hear that Illinois is looking at a bill that would ban this wretched behavior. P22, LA's famous mountain lion, spotted roaming Silver Lake. I really love your tiger feet. Young cub pokes its head out from between its mother's legs. And this is at the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve in the state of, I can never say this, Madhya Pradesh. Feds slap Walnut Prairie Wildside with animal welfare complaint. I want to read about that because I knew that PETA was working on this, and I'm really excited that it has finally come to an animal welfare complaint. Love that. Love that. Love the work that they are doing to expose all of these animal abusers who take wretched care of their animals and are violating the Endangered Species Act. And I mean this in a broad term as far as so many of these places that PETA has called out for their behavior. So bravo, PETA. MP, tiger found dead in Pench, territorial fight suspected. They need more space. I'll stay and protect them. Indian doctor refuses to leave Ukraine without pet panther and jaguar. Somebody contacted me about this recently, and they asked for our help as far as like how to even provide proper caging for these animals. They said that the person they were talking to didn't know how to take care of them, and whether or not they could get them into Poland. And of course, I know nobody in Poland that I could be able to just pick up the phone and say, yeah, bring your jaguar and your panther, which obviously here is a leopard, Latin name Panthera, so that's probably where they got that from. But it's such a sad situation. And so I suggested that they contact places that are closer to them that have some experience in doing these kinds of things, like Four Paws and Animal Defenders International, and they contacted me on Facebook and said that they had reached out to Animal Defenders International. So I'm going to read this in a few minutes. All you have to do on any of these is click on the headline or on the picture, and it will take you to the entire story. So hopefully somebody will be able to get those cats out of that war-torn region. But the real answer is stop going to zoos. You know, as long as people are paying to see caged wild animals, then they're going to end up in harm's way. And the only way we stop that for good is to stop paying to go do that. Bobcat fights nesting Burmese python in Florida Everglades. So this was in the Miami New Times, and I haven't read this article, but I read the one that came out in Nat Geo, and what an excellent article. The Florida Wildlife Commission, I think, has been so remiss in the fact that they have allowed people to buy these pythons, mostly children, and then they say, well, as long as it's under 3 feet long, you can buy it and have it as a pet. Well, they don't stop growing at 3 feet, and they estimated this one in this picture was like 12 to 14 feet. And so as soon as people can't handle them, they just throw them out the door, and then they are taking over the Everglades. And so because the Florida panther is in such peril, it looks like the bobcats are the last line of defense against these pythons that have just sucked all of the wildlife out of the Everglades because of people stupidly getting these animals as pets, being irresponsible with them, and our state not clamping down on it back when they should have, which would have been like before this problem ever started. But we were working on the python bill back in 2007. I'm going to get off on a rant because I'm still so angry about what happened with Venkman and the neglect that has led us to this point. But you can read the story, and it gives you a little bit of hope that the Florida Everglades could actually be saved if we save the Florida panther and the Florida bobcat from being killed by hunters. Most critically endangered big cats born in Midwest Zoo. That's sad. Yeah. These animals born in cages, they don't serve any conservation purpose. They can never go free. It's illegal to set any wild-born big cat free. And so all of this is just because people will pay to see them in a cage, so stop it. Russian kills Ukrainian animal rescue volunteers, bomb and starve shelters. Oh, so sad. Leopard runs to freedom after being released in the wild. That's wonderful. I don't know what the story was that cat ended up being captured, but you can be sure that this was a cat who came from the wild, who went back to the wild, because like I just said, it's not legal to set a captive-born wild cat free. Big cat. Ranthambore Tigris Noir spotted with cub at Zone 1. Oh, look at that, she's carrying the baby. 7 big cats died at Delhi Zoo in 2.5 years, mostly due to kidney failure, it says. Curious how old these cats were. Curious nature. The bobcat is one tough little feline. Yeah, I've said this before, but any sports teams that name their sports team after anything other than bobcat are really missing out. Leopard rescued from Meerut, released into the wild in viral video. Hats off, says internet. Oh, so that's where it happened. Mountain lions killed on Wild Horse Island to protect bighorn sheep. Bad move. Separated from mother, leopard cub dies at forest clinic in Kerala, Thrissur. That's sad. Wonder why it was taken from its mother. Cape Town's urban fringe, a poisoned chalice for caracals. Yeah, that's because people put out rat poison for rats, and then the cats eat it, and it kills the cats, and then the whole ecosystem is brought down. Nebraska-born mountain lion killed in Montana. That's a shame. And you can see down here, this is just page 1 of 198 pages of news. So I'm going to go to our coordinator reports, and I'll go back to March 10th. Today's the 12th. This one is from Jordan Elaine, who says, great day today. Forecast said rain, but it stayed away for the most part. We got it today. Marie kicked off the day with AM meds and Barbara with AM supplements. Mark and Barbara handled the big cat lockouts, while Susan and Barbara B did the small cat lockouts. Small cats were fed by Ryan, feeding front, and Barbara B and Nisha feeding center. Big cats were fed by Marie and Mark, feeding interior, while Barbara Barbara F., and Susan fed Lakeside. Once the feeders got back, we all filled up on bagels. Thank you, Susan, and went out to clean. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the bagels. Front cleaners were Dinasia and Susan, while center cleaners were Maya and Catherine. Lakeside cleaners were Mark and Barbara B., while interior was Marie and Barbara F. While everyone was out cleaning, Ryan, Nisha, and Zoe started raking the tour path in Outback. Kat took care of the rehab bobcats and then joined the project crew afterwards. Once the cleaners were back, they worked with their operant conditioning cats and did the daily enrichment and blood sickle cats as well. Once everyone was filled up with lunch, the interns did food prep, cleaned the rat cages, and then proceeded raking in Outback. Kat finished the day with PM meds and supplements, and interns doing PM chores. Thank you everyone that came in today. And then 20 hours ago, Lauren Grant said, it was a pretty great Friday today. Beth Ann and Kat did AM supplements and meds. Fred, Beth Ann, I'm so dyslexic, I'm trying to put Fred in the middle of Beth Ann. Fred, Beth Ann, Barbara, and Megan fed the big cats. Jordan, Ryan, and Tammy fed the little cats. Beth Ann, Megan, Fred, and Barbara cleaned the big cats. Kat, Dinasia, Zoe, Tammy, and Catherine cleaned the little cats. Nisha took care of the rehab cats. During cleaning, Jordan, Ryan, and Maya did food prep and meat inventory. Because we had such a great crew of cleaners, everyone was done a little early and everyone was able to have some cat time before lunch. Blood sickle cats and daily enrichment got done. After lunch, Fred and the interns raked along the Outback lakeside cages to get them ready for beautifying. Also, anyone who wants to participate can use the old red danger signs, filled out their name on the white side, and hang it on the barricade in front of their spot. The signs are in food prep near the gloves. Jordan finished the day with PM meds and supplements. Thank you everyone for coming in today. So what they're talking about there is there's an area of cages that used to have tigers in them. They don't anymore because the tigers have all moved into larger cages. But these were 8 cages, I think, that are alongside the lake. And I thought this would be really great for the servals to have some time out there where they have a different scenery. They get to see all the birds and the ducks, and they're big bird hunters, so they would really love seeing all of that bird wildlife that roosts over there out around the lake. So we wanted to get it spruced up for the servals because they like more places to hide, more bushes and plants and such. The tigers kind of trampled all of that. So what I suggested was we could have a contest, and each person, all of our volunteers or interns, could mark out a spot along the barricade that would be their spot. So that's what those red signs are for. I had told them to do it with cardboard, but it's raining. So doing it with these plastic signs that they can utilize the back to write their name on it. Then that way everybody knows if a site is already staked out. And then they can dig up plants from some parts of our sanctuary that have tons of plants growing in the swamps and in the woods, and there's some places where we've planted them around the cat cages that they've just gotten totally out of control. There's so many plants, and they're beautiful. They're bromeliads and ferns and all kinds of things that are just gorgeous. So I suggested that everybody pick a spot, about a 10-foot wide spot, and create their living flower arrangement and tend to it. And then we would have a contest at the end of this month where there would be a $500 first prize, I think a $250 second prize, and $150 third prize. And it would be voted on by everybody here as to which of these displays that was the best. And so the only caveat is they can't buy any fancy plants to use. They have to use what's already living here at the sanctuary. And it has to be something that's not going to grow up so high we can't see the cats behind it. So it'll be about 3 to 4 foot of beautiful plants. And I just can't wait to see what they come up with. So that's what that was about. You can stay up to date with us on all of our social channels. We are Big Cat Rescue. Stay cool, cats. Mwah!